Welcome to Agents and Owners Chit Chat, where we talk to local superheroes, hear how they got their start, overcame obstacles, and how they use social media to achieve their goals. For Agent and Owner social media tips, please visit www.gladmash.com. Here's this week's episode.
Tonight's not about us. We decided to partner with another one of our friends and associates that we actually met through social media. He's Bobby Goodman. So let's say hi to Bobby. Yep, he's
Hi,
Bobby.
Bobby.
He runs a company called Mulework, in which case his passion is helping to start up businesses. So anybody that's on the radar to just they're clueless about how to start. This is the man with the plan. So again, we're gonna give him the stage tonight. We thank him for being here. He likes the words. It's the marketing.
I do.
The man with the plan. So again, without further ado, Bobby Goodman.
First, let me thank you guys for attending, first and foremost. And I apologize to Cas and to y'all already. I assumed that this was going to be a virtual event. All right. I had an event scheduled today with the state of Georgia. I do work with the state of Georgia. And I got home. The event was from 9 to 4. I got home, kicked my shoes off, took off my pants, took off my top, getting ready for this event. So when you webinar, you put on the top, put on your shorts, tube socks, and get in front of the camera. So I'm sitting there in front of the camera, trying to set it up. I sent Cas a message. Cas, what time or what, how am I gonna access the webinar? Okay, I get ready to start looking at my notes, phone ring. He says, hey man, I saw the event you're gonna be doing down in Forest Park today. My office is near there. I'm like, okay, cool. He said, what time are you gonna be? I'm like, I think it's virtual. I don't think it's in person. He's like, I think so by looking at it. So let me read this thing again. I read it again. What's the first thing you say when you know you made a mistake? Shit! I called Cas. I thought this was, He said, no, it's personal. I'm like, oh God. Let me throw my clothes on. So, and I apologize if I didn't dress the part because I put back on the same thing I had on when I left the event earlier today. Okay, honestly, if I stink, I'm sorry. That's it. Let me tell you a little bit about me. That's something that can be very difficult because, like Cas, I run multiple businesses. Okay, I'm a Georgia product. I was born and raised in a small town near here called Roberta, Georgia. I was very fortunate enough to attend Alabama State University on a football scholarship. You can tell by the mass that I like to eat, so I play football in college. Very fortunate after that to have a professional tryout. Met this nice woman. Thought we were gonna be love forever. And as soon as the football stopped, she stopped, so that gold digging skank left when the money. Fine with me, I'm happy about that. So then, the next thing on my agenda, being a young African-American male in Atlanta, was to become a male prostitute, since I was here. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're like, wait a minute, what? No, I'm just kidding. I had multiple jobs through then. I've been in management well over 30 years. You can't tell by my age, I look younger, I'm sure. Grads, just, different things. That's right. Managing businesses well over to millions, up until a regional manager with a company called City Gear, where I traveled 3 states, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Managed well over 100 people with that. It wasn't challenging, but I was based in Birmingham. My family and kids were here. They were young kids at the time. So I had to make up my mind what I wanted to do. Okay? And family comes first and foremost. So I left that 6-figure job to move home with my wife and kids to be aggravated every single day. It was worth it. Now I have a 17 and a 15-year-old. Who got kids? Who got kids 15 years old? Who got kids 17 years old? So you know what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. With 2 girls. Oh. Lord have mercy. Somebody pray for me. Because there's something else, okay? So back to the business at hand. My name is Bobby Goodman. I'm the CEO of Goodman & Talbert. That's the name of the company. We have 3 businesses. One is an online coffee business called No 2 Coffee. Because it's an experience. You a coffee drinker?
I am.
So when you're trying to promote something like that, you want the name has to relate to whatever you're trying to do. So no to coffee means it's an experience. So whatever you're gonna drink, it has to be an experience, an adventure. That's one. It's new, very new. A month old, trying to get it off the ground. Trying to figure it all out. The other business is called Tax Nerds. Been doing Tax Nerds for well over 15 years. We specialize in small business and individual taxes. And like Yara, you know, we try to accommodate all of our customers with tax planning, which is something very important that we don't think about as small business owners and as individuals, as people. Taxing gets you in a lot of trouble if you don't take care of it. Okay, that's number one. The other business is, like I introduced, is called Mulework. Mulework was started back in 2003. And it is my passion to have people to start their business. Very simple. I like having people put a smile on their face and let you reach your goals. Because if you reach your goals, I reach mine. I accomplish something, and we can get that together. I've helped well over 300 people, probably more than that, start a business. As a matter of fact, the first person I started, we're still in contact with each other. I still do stuff for him to this day. It's back in 2003, okay? So let me get now to the topic at hand, starting a business in Georgia. And again, I apologize. I had notes that I normally develop bullet points, but because I was rushing to get here, I couldn't develop the bullet points. So I'm trying to read some of these notes without actually messing it up too bad, okay? But if you have questions, please raise your hand. I know I talk fast sometimes. My voice cracks sometimes it'll change in different tones. I go country, I go ghetto, so if you don't understand something, let me know, okay? Very simple. And I'm sitting down because I have to do something with my hands, so if I sit down, I can kind of control it. So I stand, it's, you know, all over the place. I hate that. And this thing gonna make me look fat anyway, so I'm trying not to. All right. The main thing about starting a business in Georgia is, and you hear experts say different things about, you know, when you first start out what you want to do, you have to know what it is you want to do. But in my experience, you have to solve a problem. If you come up with a great idea, that's fantastic. But who's gonna buy your great idea that don't need it? Help me out. Who's gonna buy your great idea if you don't need it? Honestly. Just like somebody said, music. If you have a music that's out there, but you sound like everybody else, sound like everybody else. Different beats, that's what get attention because it's different. It's unusual. It's something that you don't normally see. Same thing with businesses. Same thing with creating a business. So the first thing in mind is having an idea of what it is you want to do, okay? When you get that idea, the first thing you do then, come to a professional like me or like Cas, say, hey, listen, I got this idea, this is what I want to do. But before I do that, I want you to sign this non-compete contract for me. Okay? Why is that? Because Cas could take your idea and run with it.
That's right.
Okay? Because if Cas, you know, hey, he's a smart man. I'm not saying Cas gonna do this because, you know, he's an honorable person. Trust me. But you got these people out there to do that. They'll take your ideas just like in the record business and run with your idea. Make them sign a non-compete contract, number one. First thing you do, okay? Then go over your idea, what it is you want to talk about. And in the state of Georgia, there's a lot of steps involved. We're going to stick with LLCs for right now, okay? The first step, most people say, oh, you form your LLC, then you get the EIN number. I think it's just the opposite. I think you get your EIN number first, and then do your formation online. Because when you go to the bank, everything has to match. If you get you research the number first on the state of Georgia website, okay, Secretary of State site. Research it, find whether or not the name is available. You have to, again, be very careful because some names are so close that they might not let it go through anyway. So research the name first. Make sure that's not taken. That'll save you $25 right there for saving the name. Go then get your EIN number. I'm giving away, this is free information, okay? Take money out of my pocket to tell you, get your EIN number. Once you get the EIN number, then go back and start the formation. Whoever's gonna do it for you. When you do that again, make sure the names are the same. Because when you go to the bank to get your banking account, if you're gonna get business credit, you're gonna need the same information on that when you go to the bank. Same name, same address, same everything, okay? Keep it simple. Once you have that, depending on what your business is, I mean, if you're gonna be making a lot of money, if the person that you're talking to can get set up, have this consultation, like Cas, hey Cas, listen, this is what I'm doing, I'm already making $50,000 a year. Cas is gonna immediately say, you know what? Since you're already making money, we're gonna immediately, once you get your LLC come back, we're gonna do a Form 2553 to get your S Corp in place. Because now you can start paying people. You start taking out taxes on the people. Because there's nothing worse for you to file your personal taxes with your business taxes, and you got $50,000, $75,000 over here with the money you made at whatever job you had, and try to put them together. Because now you're taxed on the totality of all the money that you have. Okay, you can write off so much money because you might have legitimate taxes. You know, you might, if you made $100,000, you write off $99,000. That's not going to look right. Right? It's not. Very simple. I had a client one time. I'm not going to call her name because she is on TV. Her salary went up exponentially over 4 years. $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, and $700,000, right? The last year, she gave me receipts totaling $1 million. So I'm thinking, I'm not the brightest bulb in the tree, but if you made $700,000, how'd you spend $1 million? Does that sound right? So we're writing off stuff. I think a part of tax planning is trying to, I try to help people save as much money as possible. A lot of tax things that people don't know about. So I'm looking through this for her, trying to get her tax breaks. Got her return down to where she owed $40,000. She was not happy. She made $700,000. She spent $1 million. Red flag. She didn't pay any estimated tax for her money that she made. Red flag. But she only owed $40,000 back off legitimate tax deductions. And she was like, I don't want to pay that back. What's the reason you're stupid and the reason is you got me to do your taxes? She was dumb as a doorknob. She was not very bright. But she hired people to do stuff for her all the time. So when you try to help people like that, you need to listen. I got off the beaten path, but anyway, back to the subject. Yeah, when I think about it, I just get frustrated. And I have a lot of high-end clients that make a lot of money, and they need tax breaks, and they figure out how to do that stuff. But we start planning in January, not in December, when it's time for your taxes. You have to plan the whole year, not just in the beginning. Okay? Be very mindful of that if you start making that kind of money. I have a couple of actors. I can't think of the name of the movie that they're in, but that they do stuff all the time. And they always ask questions. One called me today, as a matter of fact, asking a question about this stuff. Anyway, back to we were talking about the EIN number, and you're getting a Form 2553 for your business. It's an S Corp, okay? An S Corp is not a state entity, it's a IRS entity. It's called an election. With this, when you get an election, you're telling the IRS, I want to change the way I'm filing my taxes, basically, okay? Because if you were to file your personal taxes, it'd be filed on a Form 1040. And on this 1040, when you file it, you have to file your business on the Schedule C. And on the Schedule C, you can do the deduction, do everything you can do on a regular file 1120, which is for the 2553. The problem is that now you have to claim all your income, not your profits. If you file your taxes on the S Corp, which would be 1120S, you only claim your profits, not the total income. Okay? Cuts down on the money that you make. Very simple. Anybody got a question about that? I feel the question somewhere is mine saying something. No question is a dumb one. Okay? Am I right back there?
Yes.
Yeah. Just want to make sure. Okay? Because business and taxes go hand in hand. That's why we do both of them. The same guy I told you about that I started his business back in 2003. His question was to me after we left lunch was, hey man, I need somebody to do my business tax. Do you know anybody? Yeah, me. We do it too. I was not, only business tax I done at that time was mine. Never done anybody else's. What did I do? Take class after class after class, webinar after webinar after webinar, became certified, became an enrolled agent. Do what you gotta do to learn these different things. And I learned, okay? Now we do taxes in 17 states. That's pretty good. I don't like taxes. I don't like doing taxes. But it's for me, it's because I have two daughters, 15 and 17. One's getting ready to go to college. She was just accepted for the University of Alabama. I don't want her to go there, but she was just accepted there. We got to pay for this stuff. My wife, I'm going to get my toes done, my nails. So you got to pay for this stuff. So you have to do what you got to do. That's why I got 3 jobs. Okay? Plus we got to pay for that doctorate degree that she got, which is very expensive. It's a mortgage. If you don't know, it's crazy. So, anyway, back to the, again, I told you I get off topic and I apologize. I'm getting back on, okay? Back to the, that when you, for the state of Georgia, again, the issue is, if you're making money right off the bat, you want to then go to the state of Georgia, the Department of Revenue site to get your tax identification number from the state, okay? Because the two go hand in hand with federal. If you're not making any money, you can wait. But if you wait, the 2553 becomes less and less relevant because now you have to explain why you didn't do it right off the bat when your LLC came back, okay? Now again, if I'm going too fast, I'll skip something. If you think I misplaced something, let me know. Okay, because again, some of this stuff sometimes can be very detailed, and I have a tendency to jump over back sometimes. But again, if you are making money right off the bat, that would be my suggestion to you. Depending on how much you're making, you want to go and get your state of Georgia identification number too, because when you file your taxes, just like on your W-2, you see where they have the employee identification number for the company and address. They also have a Georgia tax identification number. You have the same number for your business. Okay. Now, if you're in a business that's a service business and not a sales business, like what's your name again? I'm sorry. Selena. Selena's a makeup artist. So that's a service business to a certain degree, right? She don't sell product. You sell products online, right? Who do you think would need that number more, you or Selena? You. Because you sell a product that you got to account for the sales tax that you should pay sales tax on the product that you're selling. Do most people do that? No, they don't. Okay, that's kind of like some of the issues that we have. When you're trying to apply for loans and stuff like that, if your documentation's not together, not in order, you can't get the loan because you didn't know that you were supposed to do that. Well, you knew that, but you just couldn't afford to do it. You asked the right question, so you didn't do it. So now you're behind the 8 ball. So you go to your yard and try to help you get a loan. You have the documentation? Oh, no. But do you have this? Oh, no, I don't. Well, now you can't get the money. PPP was the same way for most people. I have clients that wanted PPP. You got this? No. You got this? No, I don't. Well, when we had this conversation, didn't I ask you to do this? Didn't I advise you to set this up? Didn't I call you multiple times to ask you to do this? Yeah, but you can't get the loan. So now they go out and get people to pay people all this money to try to get the loan, and they'll get it fraudulently, but you'll get it. But when you get it, guess what? You got to somehow pay that back because you don't have the documentation in place to account for it. So when they start looking for you, and they will, you got a problem. I'm saying that to say, consultants like me and Cas, it's very important that you do the right thing because if you don't, it will come back to haunt you. Well, they don't lock you up for $10,000. Yeah, they'll lock you up for $10,000. They will. It's not your money; it's their money. They can't tell me to do my money. No, they can't tell you. But they can lock you up for spending out the way they tell you not to. I think it's very simple, okay? The most I got back from somebody was $50,000. You got the receipts? Nah, man, I'm still working on it. Yeah? Well, the loan forgiveness is coming up. We got to be this stuff in. I'm going to get it to you. I called them last month. You got the receipts? Nah, man, I'm still working on it. I'm not going to call you again. Because when they come looking for you, it's on you. I did my part. Okay? Follow up, and then they're on their own. Back to the subject again, starting a business in Georgia. Okay. Again, the most important thing that you realize is that you have to know what it is you want to do. And when you get there, what steps you need to take after? You got your LLC, now what? All right? You got your corporation, now what? You got your S Corp, now what? All those is right after that. What do you do the next step? The next step is you need to talk to somebody to know what they're doing about advising you to what you need to do next. Because C Corps in the state of Georgia and anywhere is very, very difficult to run if you're not a detailed person because you have to keep paperwork on that monthly. And if you don't have paperwork on the monthly, then you ever heard of this term called pierce your veil? Okay. All of these formations are set up, they are put up for your protection. It's like your formations are a protection for you. It's like insurance, so to speak, right? From your personal liability, your personal stuff. Now, if you're offering a service to somebody and your service is wrong, they decide to sue you, because you're getting bad advice, in my case, bad advice, they can pierce your veils, what they call it, and get your personal assets because you're not doing the right things to maintain your business, okay? If you have a C Corp, first thing they want to know is, are you keeping monthly minutes for your business? Well, pierce your veil, now they're going to sue, you get your house, your car, whatever it is you got. Kids on the way, everything. They're going to take it off, okay? If you have an LLC, which is a lot more difficult because you don't have to do the same monthly paperwork on it, the first thing they're going to look for is your bank account. Are you intermingling funds with your bank account? And if you are, pierce your veil, they're going to get you for everything you got. Be very mindful of that. No intermingling of the funds. Your business bank account is your business banking account. Now, if you're going to have something going to like Cash App where you're going to have money going to it because somebody pay you in Cash App, that's okay. But don't have that same Cash App number going someplace else for business. PayPal, only going to that business account, okay? Venmo, only to that business account. Don't have it going all over the place. Don't take money out of that. Let me go back. If you have an LLC, you're gonna pay yourself, right? One way you pay yourself is, you have to, with an LLC, you have to do what they call a draw. You pay yourself with a draw. Basically write yourself a check, put it in your bank account, your personal bank account, right? Or some people move it over to their personal bank account. I wouldn't advise that because you say intermingle, but I don't think that. But anyway, write yourself a check for that for your amount. The amount has to be what they consider a reasonable salary. If you make $50,000, reasonable salary is not $49,000, right? It's not. It's not reasonable. That's not. Reasonable salary might be $20,000 because you have the expenses that go along with it. Rent. If you pay somebody the computer, whatever you're gonna have, all those are reasonable expenses, are reasonable things that go along with it. But we're very mindful of that. Those things will get you in trouble. And I know, again, I'm jumping all over the place, but I think it's up as I'm going because, again, my notes are all over the place. If you have a LLC, it's very important that you do not intermingle funds and pay yourself a draw, okay? If you're paying somebody that's an independent contractor working for you, which I do all the time, give them a form that they need, W-9, because you're gonna give them a 1099 at the end of the year. You have to account for that money that you're spending, okay? You need to account for that. On your taxes, you don't wanna say that, you can't put down that you pay somebody $10,000, you know, where'd it go? Well, I paid it to somebody. Who did you pay it to? Because in the system, they have to account for that money as well, okay? And if they can't, if you have no proof where you paid to somebody, then you have to take ownership of that money. If you do not, well, they'll come and get you. Again, it's what they do. The system is set up not to put you in jail, but the system is set up for process. You gotta have processes in place. And us, and I say us, I mean our race, to be honest, have a tendency not to follow the process the way they need to be followed. Because we try to sometimes find the short way out, to do things that are sideways and not always legit. Now, everybody's not like that. I'm gonna make sure I say this clearly. Everybody's not like that, but some people are. So same people on discount from your product. Every time you're trying to sell something, hey, that's too high. Okay, see you later. Do not change your prices. Because what happened is that, and I was told this by a very smart man, he said, if you think paying professional is expensive, wait till you pay an amateur. Okay? Because when you pay the amateur, now you got to pay to fix what they messed up. With a professional, that's going to charge you exactly. So you're going to lose. So when Cas said, I'm going to charge you $1,500 to do your marketing, I'm just joking. Pay it to them. Okay? I pay people to do my marketing because I'm, like he said, I'm terrible at it. I'm not a salesperson. I hate selling. That's not me. I can't do that. So I pay people to do that. I lose money like that. So I need to get better at certain things. I'm going to spend $10,000 in marketing this year. And I still went to a seminar and the guy said, man, that's nothing. We charge people $100,000. I don't make that kind of money. To give you $100,000 to market myself. $10,000 a lot of money when I got 2 daughters. I keep emphasizing 2 daughters because they're expensive.
Absolutely.
You know, kids are rape you. You know they will. My one daughter is too much like me. She don't speak to me till she wants something. I be like, what you want, man? Just reach in your pocket because you know she wants something. Daddy, oh God. Other than that, she don't speak to me. because that's, she does speak to me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When she got a smile on her face, daddy, then I gotta reach in my wallet. I realized that. Okay, yeah, back on subject. A lot of things that we need to do as far as setting the business up is not very difficult. Some things you can probably do yourself. But again, to avoid some of the pitfalls that you're gonna go through, hire somebody that knows what they're doing. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay? Because when somebody messed up at one time, they needed to change something on their formation, they call me. And of course I charge them because they messed it up. When I asked them to do the first time. Okay? But they don't want to hear, I can do it. Okay. Just like the car started, It don't start, it don't work, didn't work. So she had to pay for it a second time. So again, pay somebody to know what they're doing. Okay? From a tax perspective, because they go hand in hand, hire somebody to know what they're doing. Talk to your tax professional when you get ready to start the business after they sign the contracts about your business, saying that you're not going to steal my idea and go away with it. Okay? Tell them everything you want to do, your future plans, so they can plan for that. Don't tell me you want to buy a house after already doing your taxes to try to eliminate stuff that, and now your income is only $20,000, but it should have been $50,000 or $70,000. You don't qualify for the house now because you don't got $20,000 in profit. You can't buy a house for $20,000. I partner with a company in Alabama. She send me people every day that do their taxes that want to buy houses. These people don't pay no taxes, but they want to get a house. But they don't want to pay no money back on the money that they made. Is that feasible? No, it's not. So again, you have to tell the tax person what you want to do in the beginning, because if you do not, you will lose in the end. Be upfront with them when you're trying to explain what it is you want to do, to go from there. Okay? It's very important. I'm looking because I can't say it enough, I can't emphasize enough. The tax and business go hand in hand, and if you're not sure what it is you want to do not go out and tell everybody about your business and then go into it unprepared, because you will lose in the end. If I can only give you one bit of information, that is it. And remember, when you're doing business, accounting is a huge part of it, because you don't take sales to the bank, you take profit. Okay? And when you're taking profit, that's gonna be what you got left over after you pay your bills, after you pay yourself, after you pay for the product. Right? With the state of Georgia, I help blind people start their own businesses, okay? And the toughest part I got is that when they run a business, they gotta understand that because they run mostly snack bars and cafeterias for the state of Georgia, when they buy the product, they gotta pay their helper because they're blind. They can run a register, they can do certain things, but they can't do everything in the facility. Well, some of them can, But anyway, they gotta be mindful of that, because the margin is very important. So the money you make, you gotta pay yourself and your helpers and buy the product. So when you do that, you have to understand that you don't take sales to the bank. Yeah, I made $500,000. This is a true story. Made $500,000, they took home $60,000. That doesn't even sound right. Another person made $256,000. She took home $100,000. Same program, the different blind vendor, took home $100,000. Margin. One listened, one didn't. One, instead of buying wholesale, he gonna go to Kroger and buy stuff and sell it for the same price, no margin. You sold it, but you didn't make any money off of it. Okay? Look at this, and I look at this as now when I say this, don't laugh at me. I look at business as and I call it the prostitute analogy. Okay? It's prostitute analogy. Prostitutes offer service, right? They do, right? You pay the prostitute free service, but when you finish with that prostitute, in most cases, you benefit from it, right? You went there for a reason, right? Same thing with a consultant. You pay the consultant, you benefit from the service. They provide value for the money. Stupid as it sounds, prostitute provide value for the money. Okay? Same thing with a consultant. We provide value for the money. You got it? Understand? Next thing is, When you leave that prostitute, yeah, you feel good most times. When you leave me, I want you to feel like you're on the right track. You're doing good. And we offer different kind of services. Prostitutes do the same thing. Offer different services. They do, right? It's funny, but it's true.
No, it's true. Yeah, that's funny.
Prostitute Analogy. And we offer different services. But you have to realize you need these in order to survive. Now, the same analogy I just used, look at Coca-Cola. Coke don't offer just one Coke, one drink. They offer multiple drinks, right? Look at Apple. They don't just offer iPhones, they offer a lot of stuff, right? Walt Disney, all these people are multi-billion-dollar companies, but they offer multiple services. Just like Cas, just like me, okay? We're not billionaires yet, but we're getting there. We'll be billionaires soon if we keep working the way we're working. Prostitute Analogy. The next thing is that, and this is another true statement, when this comes to money, if you put $1 million on one side of the table and a bushel of bananas on the other, and you had a monkey that was there trying to decide what they wanted to get, what do you think the monkey's gonna get? You're gonna get the bananas. Why? Because he don't understand the value of the $1 million, okay? We are looked at the same way as that monkey. They feel we don't understand the value of this money. So we take the lesser, shiny stuff that's gonna be beneficial to you right now versus long term. We have to change that stigma about our people and about our generation, okay? I'm old. I'm 58 years old. That's right, yeah. 58 years old, okay? My folks didn't grow up making, we have a lot of money, okay? Dad was out doing what he wanted to do all the time. We had a house, we had food. We didn't know we was poor, but we was poor. When I started making money, I didn't know how to handle that money. Made bad decisions, just like I'm sure a lot of you did. When you seek help from somebody, take the advice. Okay? When you seek help, take their advice because they've been there, they know what they're talking about. When I learn better, you do better. Okay? I'm not a millionaire. I work every single day doing something to make money. Okay? I have a savings account, I have an emergency fund, all the stuff they talk about, I have that. I'm blessed. I don't drive a big, nice, fancy car. I got a truck. A Ford, a Dodge, a Dodge Ram. It's dirty because I work too much to clean it, take it to the thing, get it clean. That's the truth. We bought my wife a Mercedes. It's old. Pay cash for it, but it's old. It's paid for. The best thing in the yard is my daughter's because she is 17. I want anything to happen on the road, and that's almost paid for because it'll double up on the payment. Okay? But remember, manage your money very well when you're doing this. Have the end in mind when you start. Okay, have the end in mind when you start. Again, I got off the topic again, I apologize. But a business is so much more than just a business. If you only knew what I was talking about. It is so much more than your business. It's your dream, it's your passion. But do you want to be laying dead in your bed when you're 80 years old, laying there, and everything that's around you is all the regrets that you had, right? I didn't do this, I should have did that, I wish I could have done this, I should have did this, I had this opportunity. You don't want to be laying on your deathbed looking at those things that's around you that you should have done. Bad advice, don't listen, don't be like that, okay? Because it's imperative that you try to reach your goal and your dreams right now. Tomorrow's not promised. Reach it today. Go for it today. Decide what you want to do today and go for it. If you don't have any money, guess what? Sometimes you find people that help you out anyway. They help you get started. Now, they ain't going to be free all the time, but somebody point you in the right direction. Just get started. You won't know until you ask somebody. Okay? I started 2 businesses. 3 actually. One was a promotion. 2 businesses 2 months ago, and they didn't give me a dime. Because I wanted to help them. They came to me and asked a question. They had legitimate, good ideas, and I want 10% of the business. But, you know, it's worth it. In the end, for me, it was for them too. Okay? Ask the question, talk. Like right now, I'm going to end. If anybody got any questions, because again, I get rambling. I'll be up for them, but I'm sweating now, so it's time for me to stop. Anybody have any questions? Please have questions. It's good to have questions. No questions from anybody? Yes, ma'am.
What was the term that you said in the beginning, that if you have an idea so that they don't run from it? Like, I didn't grasp.
There's several different contracts that you can call. that you can use for that. But the contract is called, one is called work for hire, okay? And another is called non-compete.
Non-compete.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a contract that you give to somebody. Whenever you tell them your business, it's like that.
Work for hire.
Work for hire and non-compete. Non-compete means they can't take your idea and use it. Make sure it has on there more than 1 year, wherever. But they can't take your idea and use it. If they do, you can sue them for that. Okay? All right. Any more? Yes, ma'am.
Is a non-compete the same thing as a non-disclosure agreement?
Yes. Different names, the same thing.
Same thing.
Mhm.
But the non-disclosure agreement actually protects not only you as a person giving the idea, it also protects the person that's listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because people will take, and they will tell somebody, talk about your idea, and the person they talk to, again, will go out and use the idea.
Absolutely. So
You
it
know,
protects both
yeah.
parties.
Don't be naive when you start your business or think that nobody's not gonna talk about it. If you tell somebody, they're gonna tell somebody else. Husband, wife talking, they're gonna tell somebody. And when they do, then somebody might overhear it, then this person like, oh man, I can do this. And take your idea and run with it. Okay? That happens all the time. Particularly in the music industry right here. Okay? I don't have any music clients, thank goodness. But I hear it all the time from people that are in the industry. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
At what point do you change from 1120S to 1120?
When you're going to change your formation and what it is that you're doing, that's a very good question. Because all of it is related to your taxes, okay? And if you're starting to make a lot of money during that time, okay, my suggestion would be to change to 1120 because then when you file 1120, everything is done on the 1120 form. Now you don't claim the profits like you were doing before. Everything is done for 1120. Your corporation. Okay? Wait a minute. Am I making sense?
No, yeah.
Okay.
What is a lot of money?
What's a lot of money to you?
Well, I mean, like for that, like, what would be considered a lot of money, as in?
That's your
profit?
husband or boyfriend? Okay. He make decent money. What do you make? Let's say he made $70,000, right? Well, let me go 100,000. Is he a nice guy? All right. You made 100,000. You made on your part-time job $50,000. Okay. But your business took off and you sold on eBay or Shopify another $100,000 for product, right? That is $260,000 or $50,000 in income that you have. Okay. Now, if you can still file 1120S with that, and you have to claim all your profits. But what's going to happen is that you're taxed on the totality of the money that you bring into your house. Okay? So it would be so much simpler to be filed on 1120, and that $100,000 now is over there and away from your money here. Now that $100,000 has its own separate everything. It's taxed over there. You file it. You pay tax on this money over here, or the case may be. Now you're just paying taxes because you're married filing jointly on the 150 that you made versus 250. Is that better? That make more sense?
Yes.
Did I kind of have it get it right, y'all? Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. Because again, when you're being taxed, you always tax on the totality of the income, and it goes up the more you make. That's why I got so many people, husband, wife, we're gonna file together. We file separate. Then kids get ready to go to college. We want to see your tax return. Well, we ain't married. We ain't this, we ain't that. They'll find out. They ain't got to turn around and do amendments on your taxes. You're gonna pay on the back end from that. Okay, sounds stupid, but it's very true. Yes, sir.
Can you speak to a little bit about maybe some knowledge to share to the room about trust?
Trust funds?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to talk about trust funds.
Okay.
Because I'm not a fiduciary. My advice that I give anybody is just based on money, related to money. It'll be a personal one-on-one conversation and not in a group.
Okay.
Because if I give you advice, I have $1 million insurance for consulting. I give you bad advice, somebody come back and sue me, then I just lost $1 million or whatever it is that is my insurance. So if we have one-on-one conversation about that, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. But in a group, I will not talk to you about it. You want to talk to me about it?
Oh, no,
Yar?
definitely, outside of my life.
Yeah. So again, it's something I do talk to people about.
Huh?
But it's something I do talk to people about, yes.
Okay.
But again, it's advice. And my advice, and when I got my insurance from my company, I made sure that I tried to cover myself for that. Because anybody come back and say, I've never been sued, but I'm always in a protection mode.
Absolutely.
If you want a one-on-one conversation, I give you my card, you give me a call, we can talk. Okay? And come on, somebody else. Give me a question. Not trust related. Business related. What business you want to do? Yeah.
Well, I have a cosmetics business.
Cosmetics? You do what?
I sell products, which is I sell lashes and lip gloss.
Lashes and lip gloss. You have a website? You have social media outlets? Cass set it up for you?
Huh?
Did Cass set it up for you?
Yeah.
He did?
Oh no, I thought you guys wanted to.
No, you ain't talking. You ain't getting set it up. Why not? He good. You making any money doing it? You just say yeah, no.
Yes.
You sell a lot of. Do you come to some events you have here when they do
No, this is my first one.
pop-ups? No, I mean pop-ups. When you try to sell your events out of pop-ups. You never tried that?
I want to though, but I haven't been able to lately.
He has pop-ups all the time. I started 3 businesses. They come to him. They do pop-up stuff with him all the time. And she started selling beauty products. She's doing scrubs and lotions and all this stuff. Now she's doing the lingerie. You know, that sexy stuff. She said sex sales. Okay, I'll take your word. I'm married. I don't know nothing. Okay? So, anyway, pop-ups is a good way to get extra money to do something, to buy more product. And he offers this here all the time, pop-ups. And it's all over the city. So if you have your product that you have stuff now that you can actually do, and I apologize, I didn't bring my my promotional stuff because again, I was rushing trying to get here. But I give away product, you know, I give away bags, pens, notepads, all of that stuff, tax information. And my daughter told me, she said, why does one person need that many pens? Well, I don't, but because I give them out. And I apologize, I didn't bring them because again, I was rushing trying to get here and I don't want to be late because I try to be a man of my word. But that's a good thing to do. You need to talk to Cass before you leave about that. Okay? Same thing with you in your e-commerce. When you're mingling with people, tell them what you do. Because I sell coffee, you know. I have a client that actually wants to get into that I did a business plan for a sex toy. I'm being honest. And she needs some way to distribute and to sell it. She was trying to find a person to do that. So make sure I get your information before you leave. Okay? That's what the networking is for, because everybody do different things that are different. Somebody can help you. That's what you need. That's what it's for. I would not advise a business plan for anybody that do not know what you want to do because they're expensive and they change every single day. A business plan changes like you change underwear because the situation changes. And if you don't have your business credit in order, you got poor personal credit, why would anybody give you a loan for business if you're going to the bank trying to get a business? Well, the SBA say I can go to a bank and turn around and come to me and get a loan. No, don't work like that. Okay? You have to establish a lot of things, including business credit, including your personal credit. It's very simple. And setting up business credit is not. You do that too, Kay?
Business credit?
Yeah. See that? This man will do different things. Help you get your business credit started out because you need that in order to establish a business. Because believe it or not, some people made it through. I was very fortunate during the pandemic first year. That was my best year ever from a profit standpoint. Most people during that time lost money. I was fortunate to make money during that. Stock investments, okay, was good. And people want to start businesses. They were great. So I was very fortunate during that time. When people lost money, I actually made money made more money than I know. My best year ever was that year. You should not as good as that, but it was pretty good. But business credit will carry you most of the time when you don't have money to do it. Spend other people's money whenever possible. They're spending yours, right? If somebody will give you $8,000 to do stuff and to buy stuff, okay? Now don't just get $8,000 run them up with it. So he's going to try to do it. Business credit's part of that. Any more questions? Come on, hit me. I'm ready. I know you got one back there, Selena. What you got? Selena does makeup, by the way. If you can't tell, she's that's what she do for a living. Yeah. Now I don't know any female actresses. I know males. I don't have any females, so I don't know if they do it up, but you know, that's something I'm gonna try to hook you up with. But I know people that do photo shoots, Cas was photo shoots. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
You did?
We got a link.
That's right. You got what?
We have to link up.
That's right. Because these women come to them, they want to look, their best.
Yeah.
And they need somebody that he needs someone, hey, I can recommend this person because she does a really good job. Kind of thing. He might charge you, but they might not. Commission, help each other. Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. So can you talk to us a little bit about nonprofit formation? How does that work?
Nonprofit formation.
Yes, sir.
That's a good question. In the state of Georgia, let me talk about nonprofits in general. Nonprofits in the state of Georgia, they're not hard to set up because to get one initially you have to get a corporation. Okay? Not an LLC, even though you can. My suggestion would be a corporation. When you do that, you have to form a committee or a board. Thank you. When you form the board, you have to have so many people on your board. People that do not want to work for the company, but just there as in a voluntary role to help you out. I recommend 5, 7, 9 people because you have to vote, not to say odd number, because when you vote, you want to have a majority. Okay? When you do that. The second one, you get your corporation in the state of Georgia. Then you file your paperwork to form a nonprofit through the IRS. This is not an inexpensive journey. It's going to be expensive. And again, that's a lot of questions. You have to provide a lot of answers during this journey to get the paperwork that you need done correctly. Once the paperwork comes back, then you have to comply with a lot of different rules and regs that you, again, just like when you have the corporation, monthly rules and stuff that you have to account for. Minutes, money that you get that's going to be donated to you, and so on and so forth. Did I a roundabout way answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've only done 2 nonprofits in the state of Georgia. I've only done 3 state trademarks. Trademarks are very lucrative, but from trademarks, there is a lengthy process, 13, 14, 15 months most cases when you do that. And when you do that, there's things to be kicked back for whatever reason. Even though you're doing extensive search when you start off in the beginning. And if you have something that's really good, your trademarking is important for your business. Okay? But again, it's a link, but you have to know the steps you go through. So that's why you hire professionals to, I want to do this, what are my steps to doing it? Okay? And if nobody's ever done anything before, you can hire somebody like that, but my suggestion would be not to do it. Because if they've never done it before, if a problem arises, then what are they going to do to try to fix it? Yes, sir.
I got a follow-up question on that. It's a two-parter.
Okay. For the nonprofit?
Now, still back on what you just brought up, trademarks and patents. So what's the difference between the two? And in the process of starting up a business, at what point, if I think my idea is a mind-blowing idea, at what point of my startup process should I be applying for either a trademark or a patent?
We'll use, when you do makeup, you use your own product? You do? Something that you created?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect example. If she has something that's doing really well, right? My suggestion would be, the first thing we do, once we get her we'll say, S-Corp form. Once we get an S-Corp form for her, all the paperwork done, get the tax file and everything where it needs to be, product starts selling. We go to, what's your name again? Emily to sell her product online, Shopify, okay? Product is selling left and right. She can't keep up with the orders, okay? Now all of a sudden what we gotta do is because it's going through, somebody can try to steal her idea because it's going really well. Now we have to trademark her product, or patent, her product, okay? We can trademark her name but try to patent her product because believe it or not, that's the formulas that's inside of it is what she's trying to protect. Okay, not the name, but the product. The trademark is for the name. The patent is you're trying to protect the ingredients inside of that product. That's one of the major differences. Okay. Because again, if you're doing something like it's a great idea, if you're selling like that, you want to protect it, the name as well as the product itself, and what's inside of it.
So if you were to want to trademark a name, what would be the cost to do that?
Me, if I trademark a name?
Estimated, like an estimate. No, just in general,
Oh,
what would be an estimate?
it varies. It can range anywhere from, you see these people online that say, we charge you $349 to do your trademark, plus filing fees. Okay, they can do that. And if there's no problems, You know, the filing fee is, I think, $369 plus whatever they charge. That's not a whole lot of money. The problem is that if it comes back for whatever reason, and 99% of the time they will come back. When they come back, that's where the problem starts. Now you gotta pay for that, what it is you gotta fix. That's kind of like the problem. If you pay for somebody, you need to try to find a company that's good. One fee, that's all. You don't pay anything else. What they will agree to fix, most of the things is gonna be coming back from it. And then the main thing is gonna come back is gonna be the name. Okay, I had one that's in Alabama. I can't think of the name of it now. You start talking. Anyway, something came back because of the name, very common name. So he cannot claim that name as his own. It's certain terminology that you use to be able to claim that name without actually claiming that name. Say he's not gonna use it for this, he's not gonna use it for that, so on and so forth. I'm trying to tell you without actually telling you what to do, but okay, so excuse that, you know. But then that's the way that it works. And when you do that, you know, those cheap people, they're there for a reason. Same thing with LegalZoom, people like that to start your business. LegalZoom charges based off, just like when they do taxes at H&R Block, the different steps that they go through, okay? Because they know you're gonna need different steps. That's what it's there for. You pay the $99 to get it started, plus the state fee. Now you gotta do operating agreement, which is expensive. Now you gotta do a registration for each year. That's expensive. Whatever change you gotta do, all that adds up in the end. That's how they get you. Versus finding one person like Cash or like me that just charges you one fee, and that fee covers everything, including the state fee, including registration fee and stuff like that. I'm speaking out of turn with you, but that's how I do mine.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, because I know at some point you're gonna make a change, you gotta do something different. You're gonna need operating agreement. An operating agreement is a template that you can find, but you have the problem, the thing with the operating agreement is that it has to be solely for your business. You can get a template online and try to do it yourself, but you can miss something that's solely for your business that maybe you didn't think about. That's why it's important to get somebody to know what they're doing to do that. Okay. I had a lady that come to me after the fact. She did operating agreement with a business partner. This business partner took everything, all of the name, the money, everything, because she didn't have operating agreement set up. This lady had a $700,000 business. And then she had no rights to her own name. She created the company. But because operating agreement was not set up, because she let the woman herself do it for her, guess who? There was weight on her side because she knew what she was doing. The old lady didn't. She paid for her ignorance. Speaking bluntly, she did. That's a shame. So, and then when she tried to recreate the same name, she couldn't because it was already taken. So it caused a lot of problems. So operating agreement is very important. If you have a business partner, if you're a single member LLC, it's just you. But in that clause, it has to state, if you take on partners, what it's gonna look like. Then you go from an LLC single member to a partnership LLC. And it's different verbiage for that. Because there's different tax filings for that as well. Okay. More questions? I normally have a Red Bull, but I had it on the way here. So, yeah, that's why my voice was shaking in the beginning because I'm trying to calm down from the Red Bull. So I normally drink a while. Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know if you or anybody else heard, it's a post or saying like, they say that you can hire your kid and they can work for you in some kind of way that you can, when you do your taxes with. I don't know the
They're called household employees.
Okay, so could
I give my kids an allowance, right? And I pay them through Cash App. I pay them through Cash App because it's a way for me to track the money that I'm giving them. So at the end of the year, I print off the money that I'm giving them and claim it as household employees for me. Because again, I'm paying them to do something. Okay, so you can't do that legally, yes.
on your business taxes?
On your business taxes, depending on what they're doing.
Okay, so me, I have a cleaner business. Have a cleaner business. Well, I've had a cleaner business for 5 years. My daughter, she's been working for me for the last 2 years. She's gonna be.
Do you pay? Excuse me, let me cut you off. Do you pay taxes on the money that you make with that?
My business taxes?
Do you pay your daughter
I don't know
Nothing.
anything about this, so I was just trying to ask.
Do you pay employees?
Yeah, like, once you do pay, I mean, work for me, I do pay her cash out, or, you know.
No, I'm talking about the employees, the other employees that you have, you pay them, how do you pay them?
Like cash or cash out, or Zelle.
Uh-huh. I think that, you need to get with, Yard before you leave to get some advice about, because you can't pay that like the guest, but you have to account for the money that you're spending when you pay somebody cash out. You're accounting for the money, but you still, at the end of the year, need to give that person a 1099 to account for the money that you spent.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, you have to claim that money, right? And what you don't want to do is have to claim extra income for money that you really shouldn't be claiming. You should be, actually, the person that made it should be claiming it. You could pay them over the course of a year, $2,000 or $3,000, and that can make a huge difference on your tax at the end of the year. You have multiple people that you're paying that to.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I have a person that has a cleaning company, also Clean Atlanta, and she has, she's just now, I've been talking to her for a year, set up a payroll with us to do her payroll taxes. Because she was, at the end of the year, she wanted to try to get a business loan, she could not because all the money was going, because she had to claim it, she was having to pay money back in taxes because she was not doing the right thing right off the bat. So again, if you're sitting up, you're doing stuff the right way, and I'm not telling you what you're doing is wrong, because when you're just starting out, you have to do what you gotta do. Let me say that for everybody. If you're just starting out, do what you have to, okay? Now I'm just giving you advice. Our advice is free. When you're starting out, do what you have to. Just try to not do anything illegal, please. But do what you have to get started. Because it takes 2 or 3 incomes right now in a family to survive most of the time. That's why I work the jobs I work. That's why my wife works the job she's worked. Because it takes 2 or 3 incomes to survive, right? And life happens. When life happens, you have to pivot. When you pivot, you have to then decide in another direction what you're gonna do. Okay? Am I gonna pay my car payment? Or I'm gonna keep the lights on to feed my kids, right? Or before you pivoted, did you have an emergency fund set up for this life because it happens? Most people don't. So now you have to make a decision that's a life-changing decision: pay your light bill, your car bill, or feed your kids and keep the lights on. If I don't pay the car bill, I can't get to work to make the money to feed the kids. So what do? That's a tough decision to make, isn't it? That's tough. I remember once, when I first started out, my first job, I made $2,800, my first gig. I was happy. I just left a 6-figure job, I gave $2,800, I didn't get another gig for 3 months. 2 weeks before Christmas. That's how I bought Christmas present, right? I had 6 months worth of emergency funds for bills, car payments, mortgage, but you also had to run a business, okay? And when you're running a business, you cannot go into the business model, and I call my business model the lean startup. If you try to run a business like Walmart or Kmart, or not Kmart, a bad example, Target, something like that, you don't have the money to spend. You're spending your money. If you're spending that money, you can do everything. You got employees, you got this, you got that. When you're spending your money, you might not have all that. Spend to your pocket, okay? Spend to what you have, to you budget what you got. I said I paid $10,000 in marketing. The first year, I paid $1,000 in marketing. Then went up to 5, then went up to 10. Because I felt that I needed to do it. Cas kept on budgeting, man, you gotta get marketing. Okay? I didn't get it through him. I should have, but I didn't. This is why I met him. I made a commitment to somebody else, and I try to keep my commitments. But when I change this other company, then I will go to him because I need his advice. Smart man. So if you can afford to do it, great. If you can't afford to do it, come up with something else. You can do your own stuff on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. If you're trying to market to, and then before you do that, do research. Where's my customer? Facebook got a lot of old people on it, right? Are you selling old people? Nope. You selling young people? Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all them little, the millennials love that stuff. Okay, I don't advertise on Facebook. I don't waste my money. Okay, because it's not valuable to me. I don't see any value in it. Because old people are not going to start businesses. They should, but they don't. They really don't. Any more questions for me? Come on now. I got a few more minutes here. Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to the EIN, okay, so as we went through the pandemic, we had a lot of challenges in trying to obtain sustainability. And we had to add a lot of verticals to businesses.
A lot of what to businesses, I'm sorry?
Verticals of business to an established business. In regards to an EIN, do you recommend, or what is your advice when a client comes to you and say, I need to add this vertical of business, but I wanna keep my LLC?
LLC or EIN?
The LLC, can the LLC have multiple EINs under it? Because the EINs are potentially related to your industry, what is your recommendation?
Because Goodman and Talbot is umbrella for my companies, right? Goodman and Talbot has its own EIN number. Mulework has its own EIN number, so does Tax Nerds. And they're under this umbrella. Now the coffee company, because it's an unrelated business, has to be separated from that. It doesn't fall up under the same umbrella. So this has to now be its own entity, okay? Now, if everything that you did, like what you guys doing, will fall up under the same category, same umbrella, you can use the same one EIN number. But if you get away from that, you have to get away from that too. The EIN number has to change, business formation change, all of that changes because it's not up under the same umbrella. If that makes sense. Okay, if you're doing cleaning, all of a sudden you want to go into a sports bar, that's two different things. So they will not fall up under the same umbrella. If you have an umbrella company like I do, like they do, that's what I mean. Now, EIN numbers just, again, you can use the same EIN number for a lot of stuff as long as it's kind of related. But when you start forming different stuff, that has to change, okay? Because if it does not, then, okay, you can, again, for formation reasons, for legality reasons, you can't have the same EIN number for different stuff. Because the EIN number is attached, it's like your social security number for your business. That's how they monitor what you're doing.
Thanks for listening. Agents and Owners Chit Chat is produced by GladMesh. To be featured or sponsored, or to sign up for Agents and Owners free social media tips, please visit www.gladmesh.com.